Hello and welcome back to I Create For You. We're doing another ghost story in the Ghosts Among Us book. I apologize. This is irritating me, but I'm not going to re-sketch what I've already sketched. I thought the whole time that I did this video that read this story and I had gotten to the sketch. And I had such good points I made throughout this. I hope I can redo what I said, but my phone cut out. I did everything and I got up to pan out and there was nothing. It had flipped to photo, off of video onto photo. So I'm crossing my fingers that this time we can get through it, but I'm just going to forewarn you, I am not going to redo my sketch. I will just show you the sketch afterwards and give you thoughts on this story. So we're in the when justice is done part. So I'm going to read this and then I'm going to see if it goes to the end. Let's hope. But my drawing will be creepy. I was having fun drawing that one. We see countless cases of haunted sites where murders have occurred. Murder seems to be the ultimate ghost maker, nearly as mysterious as the spirits who remain earthbound as a result of this most unjust of deaths. Killers are enigmas no one yet completely understands. There are, of course, people who kill out of self-defense or to protect loved ones, and there are those who simply lose control, are truly insane because of a malfunctioning brain. Then there are the killers who have no heart. They are so intent on their selfish needs or desires that they can snuff out another human and feel no more guilt than if they swatted a fly. These are the ones who baffle the rest of us. As mentioned earlier, my mother is a true crime author, Anne Rule. She has documented over 1,400 murder cases, has lectured to the FBI, and is considered one of the world's top experts on serial killers. She can think like a police officer. Indeed, she was one for a short while when she was very young, but was drummed off the force because of her poor vision. It may surprise some to know that she believes in ghosts. In fact, she has frequently become aware of paranormal occurrences surrounding the cases she covers. Murder and ghosts go hand in hand. If a killer thinks it is the end when he or she slays another person, they may be in for a rude surprise. Killers don't deserve the ink it takes to cover these pages, but they are an integral part of some of the following stories, so they must be mentioned here. And maybe, just maybe, a potential murderer may read these words and decide that taking another's life will be worth it. Perhaps killers will understand that they don't have any power in the end, that their victims aren't really gone, and they will one day have to face them, perhaps in this lifetime. As Anne's daughter, I've been exposed to killers, and as her photographer since the age of 17, I've accompanied her to many trials and sometimes felt those killers' rage as I pointed my cameras at them. I was just a teenager when I took a photo of a beautiful murderess during a courtroom break. She did not look like the paid hitman she was. She was petite with thick dark hair that cascaded down her back. I snapped a picture as she puffed her cigarette. Her eyes turned to granite as she hissed, "I told you not to take a picture of me while I was smoking." Yeah, she had told me about that, but I was nervous and forgot. I will always remember that instant when she fixed her venomous eyes upon me. Her stare was the same as the one I received from Randy Roth, a man convicted of killing his third wife and suspected of pushing his second wife off a cliff, both for the insurance money, when I photographed him in the corridor outside the courtroom. When a killer looks at you like that, it feels as if they have touched your heart with an icy finger. The resulting shiver travels all the way to your toes. While some murderers have fixed their dark eyes upon me angrily as I snap their photos, others have primped and posed for me. When Killer David Brown saw me with my camera in the Orange County, California courtroom. He turned away for just a second and pulled out a comb. After neatening his greasy black hair, he turned back and struck a pose as naturally as if he were a celebrity. Far from being an attractive movie star, the stubby man with the pockmarked face was finally on trial for murder. 5 years earlier, he had manipulated his 14-year-old daughter, Cinnamon, into killing his wife, her 23-year-old stepmother. The victim, Linda Brown, was a lovely, kind woman and a first-time new mother. Her infant daughter was in the next room, and Linda snoozed peacefully as Cinnamon Brown shot her on the night of March 19, 1985. David Brown had lied to his daughter and told her that Linda was plotting to kill him. He convinced her that she had to kill her stepmother or that he would die. The 14-year-old girl was terrified and did as her father instructed. In reality, David Brown was having an affair with his wife's 17-year-old sister, Patty, and had also involved her in the murder plot. He had taken out a large insurance policy on Linda's life. His plan worked for a while. Cinnamon was imprisoned for the murder. David and Patty and Linda's baby daughter went back to the murder house on Ocean Breeze Drive to wait for the insurance settlement. Yet things were not quite as they expected. Linda was still there. The couple could not bring themselves to sleep in the bed where Linda had been murdered. They dragged a mattress out into the recreation room and slept there, where Linda's photograph still smiled down from the mantel. They could not, however, sleep peacefully. They could hear Linda crying. They were so tormented by the weeping of the woman they had killed that they could not stay in the house and soon moved out. When I am not available, my mom often takes her own photographs for her books. When she photographed the murder house on Ocean Breeze Drive, she didn't notice anything unusual until she got the photo developed. She slipped it out of the envelope and gasped. There, framed in the front window, was the shape of a woman with long blonde hair. Linda. The new residents were Asian with black hair. None of them resembled the young woman who was killed there. It was not one of them standing at the window. The figure appeared to be between Venetian blinds and the window, said Anne. There's no way a human could fit there. She studied the photograph, wondering if it were possible that she had photographed Linda's ghost, or did she simply capture an odd reflection in the window? I went back at the same time of day and tried to duplicate the photo, but I couldn't, Anne said. I think it's Linda's ghost. We can't say for certain if the photo shows Linda's ghost, but the phantom weeping heard by David and Patty indicates that her spirit was earthbound for at least a little while. I pictured the spirit of the distraught young mother searching for the infant daughter she adored. That baby girl is grown now. Justice was served to David Brown. When Cinnamon finally revealed the truth, he was arrested and convicted of murder. He will serve life in prison. Let's hope Linda is free. Let me check here. Good, we are still recording. So my thoughts on this was, I'm going to try to replicate what I said. I did it so well. Is that my opinion is this guy is a piece of crap. He's a master manipulator. He is also, in my eyes, a pedo. Or he's just disgusting. Here's what I have played out. He was able to manipulate his 14-year-old daughter. She's 14. His new wife is only 23, only 9 years older than his daughter, okay? And now there's a baby in the mix. But not only that, he's not only got his 14-year-old daughter convinced to unalive her stepmother, who's only 23, but he's double dipping with his wife's sister, his sister-in-law, who's only 17, only 3 years older. 3 years older than his own daughter. That's sickness in itself. But he is able to manipulate the 14-year-old on this 17-year-old against the 23-year-old. I'm glad justice was served, and this man is now serving time for his manipulation. But there are a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot of, there are some other ones that are good examples, such as Charles Manson. He did not manipulate. I mean, he did not kill himself, but he manipulated his followers to kill for him. So I think they're the most dangerous, because once they're in prison, their legacy can still live outside of the prison. If there is anyone out there who is like in awe of this person, they may do that person's bidding outside of the jail. And he's still in prison and has nothing to do with it, except for the fact that someone was starstruck over this guy's accomplishments and how he was able to manipulate someone. And also, if you ever watched the movie Saw, any of the Saw movies, that's another psychological killer. That's the way I call them, psychological killers, because they can get into the minds of other people and have them do their dirty work for them, thinking if they do that, they're scot-free. But in Saw, Jigsaw was not only able to manipulate them to kill each other in each scenario, but also, if they had to, unalive themselves. And so it's like they have no trace evidence of DNA on them or anything like that. But I think nowadays, what I like to say is, when it comes to people who think they can get away with murder nowadays, better think really hard about that, because the technology from back in the 80s is tremendous. They can get the littlest bit of DNA and draw from that, and not even have the DNA of the exact killer. I mean, like, they'll have this. Let me put this this way. If you are in the police station, they can get a warrant to take your DNA, and then they'll have your DNA compared to the DNA in the evidence. But if they have nobody to bring in for that DNA swab, they are able now to take that DNA that was in evidence and compare it to members of the family of the person who committed the crime. So it's a little bit harder for these guys to get away with it. I think that it's great that now that, even though there's a lot of cold cases, the lot of cold cases are getting solved because of this new DNA genealogy breakthrough. And so, I mean, some of the family members that have lost loved ones may not be alive anymore, but still their loved ones are getting justice because of this. And Othram is awesome for being able to do that. Now, I know that Linda was not a creepy ghost. I know she was not demented. She wasn't, how can I put it? She didn't really haunt these people, except get in their heads. Like, she was able to get in their heads to the point where they had to move. Awesome, Linda. Love it. But I didn't have in mind to draw anyone that was a friendly ghost. I wanted to be creepy today. And so I did the whole sketch and talked about all of that stuff. And I'm just gonna show you the sketch that I drew. And I drew it a little creepy. So there you have creepy Linda. Although she is not really a creepy woman, I did go through and do the creepiness. Bring her closer and closer. She is kind of creepy, isn't she? Kind of reminds you of the movie Smile. Yeah. Yes, I love horror movies. Oh, but some of them nowadays that they're coming up with have the same kind of backstory, and they're getting kind of not like our good old slasher movies. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by, listening to my recap of the story and my insight to what the DNA side of it is, and how people can be manipulated into doing things, and a few examples and such. And you can give me your thoughts on this in the comments if you'd like to. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't. And I hope to see you guys again on Monday, but we'll have another story. I don't know if I'm going to do another one in here. We'll see. Remember, I said I was going to flip to another book, and it might be the Hamburg, Ghosts of Hamburg, so that I can go to the exact places that are mentioned in the book, and we can do a little spoof on that. In the meantime, stay happy, stay healthy, stay creative, stay colorful, stay creepy, stay true to yourself, stay kind. And stay tuned for the next video. Bye bye for now.